Today, you had Lyons finding himself in the hot seat. The House Homeland Security Committee held a hearing grilling Lyons and other members of the Trump administration. And while he pledged to provide reports into the killings of Renee Good and Alex Pretti, he also refused to apologize to their families. And with all that, you had Representative Eric Swalwell's line of questioning getting probably the most attention here.
Mr. Lyons, will you apologize to the family of Renee Good for being called a domestic terrorist by the president and his leadership?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, I welcome the opportunity to speak to the family in private, but I'm not going to comment on any active investigation.
Will you apologize to the family of Alex Pretti for also being called a domestic terrorist?
Sir, again, I'm not going to speak to any ongoing investigation.
You then also had a heated exchange when Swalwell started asking Lyons about firing ICE agents.
How many ICE agents have been fired for their conduct under your leadership?
Sir, I can get you that data. I'll get that back to you.
Is it more than one?
I'm not going to speak about personnel actions, but I'll get you that data.
Can you tell us if at least, God, I hope at least one person has been fired for their conduct since these operations have begun? Are you telling us you can't even say one person's been fired?
Sir, I'm not going to talk about personnel actions, but we will get back to you.
But 2 people have been killed so far.
Now, for his part, Lyons, he repeatedly referred to attacks against ICE agents and law enforcement, but that ended up really only inviting even more scrutiny, with Representative Dan Goldman saying,
"You said in your opening statement that references to ICE as the Gestapo or the secret police encourages threats against ICE agents."
100%.
The problem is you have it backwards, sir. People are simply making valid observations about your tactics, which are un-American and outright fascist. So I have a simple suggestion. If you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one.
And that actually wasn't even the biggest condemnation that Lyons faced, because you had Representative LaMonica McIver basically saying that he was going to go to hell.
Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh,
ma'am.
okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to entertain.
Of course not.
So generally, this hearing, it painted a very clear picture of lawmakers' frustrations with ICE. And actually, on that note, it appears that Democrats are even willing to send DHS into a shutdown over ICE funding now, because Congress is facing a Friday deadline to fund the department. But some lawmakers say that they don't want to pass another continuing resolution to keep it afloat, as they're demanding real changes with immigration enforcement. So you're seeing people like Senator Angus King, an independent from Maine, telling NBC, what ICE is doing is unconscionable and it's got to be reined in. I can't in good conscience vote for it. I would feel complicit in what they are doing. You know, King's statement here, it's being seen as a big deal because he's one of 8 senators whose vote is really, really crucial. Now that said, as far as how things currently stand, negotiations between both parties and the White House, they're ongoing. Last week, you had Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer sending a letter to Republicans with a list of demands asking that agents no longer wear masks or enter homes without warrants, and that they wear body cameras, IDs, and stop racial profiling. But you had Republicans calling those demands unrealistic and unserious. And so then, no surprise, you had Democrats rejecting the plan that Republicans sent forward this week, with both Schumer and Jeffries shutting it down and saying that it is both incomplete and insufficient in terms of addressing the concerns that Americans have about ICE's lawless conduct. You know, because there's been such a massive public outrage against ICE recently, Democrats, they appear to be emboldened to stand their ground. But recent polling has even shown that over 60% of Americans believe that the agency has just gone too far and they're making the country less safe, and only 34% approve of their actions. And so with all that, you had Senator Chris Murphy saying, I don't think there's a lot of interest in continuing to fund this agency that's out of control, killing American citizens, tear gassing elementary schools without reform. People are going to get killed. More people are going to get killed if we continue to fund DHS. And then as far as, what happens if the Friday deadline passes with no deal in sight, yes, the shutdown only impacts DHS, but DHS's umbrella still includes agencies like TSA and FEMA. Meanwhile, ICE itself actually would probably continue operating, as it already got $75 billion in funding last year. But for the Democrats right now, it really appears to be the principle of the matter. But with everything that's going on, ICE at the very least needs to fundamentally change if it's going to get even more cash padding its budget.